This is the Radio Realtors.
I sold the house.
This is a home. This is a place to live. This is a place to live.
Northern California's longest running show on real estate.
Real estate is not just buying and selling houses.
What are you, some kind of real estate agent? Real estate agent?
I love real estate.
Ever since I laid eyes on that house, I wanted it.
The Radio Realtors.
I love every second.
Now, here's your host, Robert Lewis with eXp Realty.
Let's go and sell some homes.
There goes our neighborhood.
Welcome to the Radio Realtors. We are Northern California's #1 real estate radio show, proudly coming to you live from the EquityProtect.com studios. And Equity Protect is the only company that completely stops deed fraud and home title theft. And they do it 365 days a year, 24/7. You can get your free risk assessment at their website, EquityProtect.com. That is EquityProtect.com. I'm Robert Lewis, your real estate professor. And if you've got a question, a comment, or you're just ready to hire me to help you sell your home or buy a home, you can reach me on our hotline number at 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. Or you can live chat with a member of my team 24/7 at the website, RadioRealtors.com. That's RadioRealtors.com. Got a great show for you today, including these topics. Number one, the 7 flaws of home selling and their fixes. So we're not just going to give you the flaws. We're going to tell you how you can fix those flaws. And then we're going to do an interview with one of my favorite people. His name is Jim Adams, and he is the co-owner, co-founder, and president of Equity Protect. And you hear us talk about Equity Protect every week, but Equity Protect is the only company that stops home title theft and home stealing altogether. They're the only company that has a patented process that helps you stop it in its tracks. So we're going to have a great interview with Jim. You're going to learn all about his company and why you should get their services. And once again, you can get a hold of me on the Radio Realtors hotline at 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. Or use that live chat option 24/7 at my website, RadioRealtors.com. That's RadioRealtors.com. And welcome to the Radio Realtors. Like I said, I'm your host, Robert Lewis, your real estate professor. And today we're uncovering a subject that could spell success or failure for anyone planning to sell their home. If your home has been sitting on the market with no offers, the issue might be one of the 7 flaws of home selling. And these flaws are common mistakes that can hinder even the most beautiful homes. But don't worry. With the right approach, you can fix these flaws and ensure a quick, profitable sale. Whether you're in Sacramento, Roseville, Elk Grove, or anywhere else, these tips will help you. So grab your coffee, sit back, and let's dive into the 7 flaws of home selling and how you can fix them. Flaw number 1 is ignoring clutter. You know, clutter is the silent killer of home sales. Buyers want to see open, clean spaces that allow them to imagine their lives in the home. And clutter distracts from the home's features and can turn buyers away. So what's the fix? Well, remove excess furniture, personal items, and decorations to highlight your home's best features. You also want to showcase hardwood floors, large windows, or architectural details by keeping spaces minimalist. One client in Rockland that I had cleared out 40% of their belongings and sold their home in less than a week. They had a lot of stuff, but when they took 40% out, it made a big difference. And, you know, clutter extends beyond furniture. Think about your closets, garages, and even kitchen countertops. A buyer wants to feel like they're stepping into a lifestyle upgrade, not somebody else's busy day-to-day life. So store away everything from extra shoes to bulky kitchen appliances. Now, flaw number 2 is skipping pre-inspection and repairs. You know, laziness in addressing issues can cost you big time as a seller. And imagine a buyer discovering that you had a leaky roof or faulty wiring during the inspection. You know, that's a deal breaker for most buyers. So the fix here is hire professional inspectors to evaluate your home's condition before you list it. And you want to tackle repairs proactively. A seller I had in Folsom replaced their HVAC system for just a little bit over $10,000. And guess what? That actually added $20,000 to their final sales price because the buyer saw it as move-in ready because of all the other things that they had done. But you know what? They made that investment for $10,000 and they got a $20,000 boost in their sales price and their final sales price. Also, you want to think about smaller fixes as well. Replacing worn carpet, touching up paint, or fixing squeaky doors are inexpensive upgrades that reassure buyers. And for larger issues such as plumbing or electrical problems, showing proof of recent repairs can put buyers at ease. And sometimes I talk to people and they say, well, I know my flooring's bad, but I don't want to replace it because I just want to give a flooring credit. And so the carpet may be old and really, really in bad shape. Maybe it's eaten up or torn up by animals, or maybe it has pet stains from them being indiscriminate. Well, I'll tell you this, you could give a credit, but buyers are all about how it feels, how it looks, and how it smells when they come in your house. And you just giving a credit sometimes for new flooring is basically like saying, you know what? I know my home does not smell good. I know my carpets don't look good, but I don't want to worry about it. I just want to leave it, make it your problem. Well, if you went ahead and made those changes, even if the buyer was going to change out the carpet, you might get a higher sales price because you did that work rather than leaving it to them. It's just food for thought, folks. Now, flaw number 3 is choosing DIY or discount agents. And if you're trying to save some money by selling your home yourself, a FSBO process, or maybe hiring a discount real estate broker, that can backfire on you. Selling is a complex process, and cutting corners often leads to costly mistakes. And the fix here is work with a professional realtor. That means me, folks, who understands the market and can negotiate on your behalf. And as your trusted real estate expert, I handle everything from pricing to paperwork. So call me, Robert Lewis, at 833-32-RADIO, or you can chat with my team anytime at RadioRealtors.com. That's RadioRealtors.com. Remember, a skilled agent often nets you more money than you'd save by going the DIY or the FSBO route. FSBO, or for sale by owner home sales, always lack the marketing exposure needed for success. And a seller in Sacramento who listed on their own struggled for 6 months with no offers, and they finally came to us, and after working with us, their home was staged, professionally photographed, and it was target marketed wildly across several different platforms, and it sold within 2 weeks. Now, we've got to go to break, but if you want to get a hold of me personally, I would love to work with you, whether you're a seller or a buyer. But give me a call, 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO, or you can live chat with a member of my team 24/7. That means day or night, folks, at RadioRealtors.com. That's RadioRealtors.com. And don't go anywhere. We've got more right after this.
AC Heat and Plumbing, you just call Lee's. It's easy as calling Lee's. Lee's AC, Lee's AC, Plumbing and Heat, yeah.
Robert Lewis here from the Radio Realtors, and my friends at Lee's wanted me to remind you to be sure to stop by their booth at the Northern California Home and Landscape Show, January 31st through February 2nd at Cal Expo. This is the big show, and Lee's will have big savings for show attendees, including discounts on HVAC tune-ups, their exclusive HVAC and plumbing membership plans, their dynamic indoor air quality systems, and more. Lee's is your go-to solution for all your heating, AC, and plumbing needs. See you at the home show or book your service now at leesair.com. That's leesair.com.
AC Heat and Plumbing, you just call Lee's. It's easy as calling Lee's. Lee's AC, Lee's AC, Plumbing and Heat, yeah. Lee's AC.
Okay.
Okay, honey, I'm done with your cleaning list. Wash the windows.
Check.
Power wash the patio.
Check.
Cleaned the outdoor furniture.
Check.
Now for some me time.
What about cleaning the trash bin?
Nope, I didn't do that one.
Well, it's got to be done.
But they look and they smell really bad.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I heard on the radio about a local family-owned company called Ben Levin Clean Bins.
Wow, here they are. Ben Levin Clean Bins. It says they use a combination of hot water and high pressure to clean the bins. And they sanitize, deodorize, and disinfect them.
That sounds amazing.
And check this out. Ben Levin Clean Bins also has great reviews, and their service is really affordable. So, babe, can I hire them so I can finish off your cleaning list?
Of course, honey.
Awesome.
Enjoy 50% off your first cleaning with promo code FreshStart50. That's promo code FreshStart50. Hurry, limited time only. Discount available on all recurring plans. Book your cleaning now at benlevincleanbins.com.
Welcome back to the Radio Realtors with Robert Lewis from eXp Realty. If you'd like to talk to Robert directly, call 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. And now, here's Robert.
All right, welcome back to the Radio Realtors. We are Northern California's #1 real estate radio show, proudly coming to you live from the EquityProtect.com studios. And if you own your home free and clear, or you have thousands of dollars in equity, or maybe you own multiple properties, or maybe you own property with no home, just vacant land, well, these are ideal targets for scammers. And if you want to protect your assets, well, the best way to do that is to call Equity Protect or go to their website and take your free risk assessment. And I'm telling you, folks, they're the only company that prevents title fraud and equity theft from happening to you. A lot of other companies out there are merely monitoring services. Equity Protect stops it from happening in the first place. Get protected today at equityprotect.com. That's equityprotect.com. My name is Robert Lewis, your real estate professor, and we're talking about the 7 flaws of home selling and how to fix it. And you know, with the right approach, you can fix these flaws and prevent them from happening to you, right? So flaw number 1 is ignoring clutter. And clutter, like I said in the beginning of the show, is the silent killer of home sales. You know, I've gone into homes where literally it was hard to get into rooms because there was so many boxes, so much clutter. And when you go into a brand new home community, they're normally, I'd say 90% of the time when you go into a new community, the homes are staged. They have model homes for a reason, so they can show you what that home is going to look like. They're never cluttered, for sure. So when you're trying to fix your home, you need to remove excess furniture, personal items, personal photos, and any decorations. And you want to highlight your home's biggest and brightest features: hardwood floors, large windows, architectural details, and you want to make sure that you think beyond just those spaces. You want to think about your closets and your garages and even your kitchen counters, okay? Now, flaw number 2 is skipping pre-inspections and repairs. You know, in the Bay Area, like 90% of the time, sellers there will get their homes pre-listed inspections. And that means that they like to have less negotiation. They want to have buyers come in that are non-contingent. They can buy a home, they give an offer, and if it's accepted, it's one knockout punch, and they move forward to close as quickly as possible. Here in the greater Sacramento area, I don't know why, but for the most part, it's different, and we let the buyers do the inspections. But I always recommend to my sellers that you want to try to do your own inspections, and we can help you set those things up. But we need to be more like the Bay Area when it comes to the listings and the pre-listing inspections. So you are more in control as a seller than the buyer being in control getting their own inspections. So it's just something that's great. And as a buyer, it's awesome when you come in and those inspections have been done by reputable companies, because then you can go, okay, I'm ready to go with my offer, and I don't have to spend the money to do this. So I'm ready to put in a strong offer, and I don't have to do additional inspections. Now, flaw number 3 is choosing to do a FSBO for your sale or using discount agents. You know, a lot of times I remember when I was little and my mom would say, you get what you pay for, you know, so sometimes, you know, you go with a discount, this or that, and you end up going, you know what? It's not so good. I kind of look at it like this. I remember one time I was at my grandma's house and I wanted a Big Mac. And I was, you know, kind of complaining to my grandma that I wanted to go to McDonald's. Can we go to McDonald's, get a burger? She goes, I can make you a burger. And so she made me a steak-um sandwich on Wonder Bread. And it was kind of greasy and the grease was coming through there and she put ketchup on it. And, you know, I was eating it and I was trying to visualize it tasting like McDonald's. It just didn't. And it was not good. And so we went with a discounted method. And I love my grandma, but her tacos were exceptional. But her makeshift hamburger was not good. It was not a McDonald's hamburger. Now, flaw number 4 is restricted showings. You know, if buyers can't see your home, they can't buy it. I mean, it's as simple as that, folks. If you limit access for your own convenience, then it can keep your home sitting on the market. So the fix here is be flexible with showings, accommodating early mornings, evenings, and weekends. And you want to leave the home during the showings so buyers feel comfortable exploring. I know there's sometimes you can't leave the home. I know that there's certain reasons why you can't do it, but in most cases, you want to make sure that you do leave if you can. A seller in Davis that I had opened up weekday evening slots at dinner time, and they received 3 offers in 1 week. And you also want to consider allowing me as your agent to schedule for you and to be able to use technology. You know, apps like Showing Time and things like that allow buyers to request tours while keeping you informed. And that's something that I can help you with. But the easier you make it for buyers, the more likely you are to receive offers. Now, flaw number 5 is letting your pets roam free. You know, your pets might be your pride and joy, but not everyone loves animals. And an unrestrained pet can make buyers uncomfortable and even lead to negative impressions of the home. So what are the fixes? Well, first off, let me tell you a couple stories. I have run into animals that were supposed to be real nice. I remember I was showing a home one time and I was dealing with the sellers on this deal. And we had a home inspection and the dog was in the hallway and was totally fine with me with the inspector there. And then the inspector left. And I don't know why, but I guess this dog liked the inspector more than me. And I looked at that dog and that dog looked at me and he said, you know what? You look like an intruder. And so I had to think fast and I had to get out of that home as quickly as possible through a side door. I didn't want to wait around to find out if that dog was going to like me or not. One time we were going out to the backyard with some clients to look at a home and we started to open the door and I asked the seller, I said, is your dog okay? Are we okay to go out here? And they go, oh, it's no problem at all. That dog hit the screen door so hard that it almost knocked me to the ground. So we decided we were not going to go in their backyard and we turned around and we left. Another time we walked into a house and the smell of the cat urine was so strong that we couldn't even step into the home. We just locked it back up and walked away. You know, so the fixes here, if you've got pets and they're not indiscriminate, you know, arrange for your pets to be off the property during showings. Build a designated dog run or a secured area, but avoid using spaces that buyers need or would like to see, like your garage. You know, if we can't go in your garage and you have a beautiful 3-car garage, but you've got your dogs in there and we can't see, then it's not going to help. One Elk Grove seller that I had opted for doggy daycare for his 2 dogs during open houses. And normally what he did was, as he made it available to be able to be seen on Saturday and Sunday, he took the dogs to doggy daycare and it resulted in glowing feedback. And remember, some buyers may have allergies or fears of animals. I love pets. I have a great dog named Rozzy, but I will tell you, if I was selling my home, I would not have Rozzy on the premises. Why? Because she's the nicest dog ever, but she looks like she would kill you if she could, right? Even the sight of pet hair or a litter box can leave negative impressions for buyers. And also, deep cleaning and deodorizing your home can help eliminate these concerns on smells. Now, flaw number 6 is overpricing your home. Overpricing your home is like overfilling your plate at a buffet. It looks appetizing and pushes people away. Pricing too high scares off buyers and keeps your home lingering on the market. And so the fix here is trust your agent's market analysis to set a competitive price. Folks, that means me. Pricing correctly generates interest and often leads to multiple offers. And a home in Sacramento priced accurately attracted 15 showings in its first week and sold above asking price. Overpricing also leads to longer days on the market, which can make buyers suspicious, and a home that lingers often sees lowball offers. By starting at a fair price, you'll attract motivated buyers and create urgency. Now, flaw number 7 is poor presentation and marketing. Presentation is everything. Buyers are drawn to homes that look great online and in person, and poor photos or marketing efforts can leave your home unnoticed. And the fix here is invest in a listing agent that utilizes professional photography and home staging. Also use a realtor that utilizes targeted online marketing to reach the right audience. That would be me, folks. Robert Lewis with eXp Realty. One of my listings in Rancho Cordova recently went viral on social media, resulting in over 50 showings and multiple offers. Today's buyers often make decisions based on what they see online. Virtual tours, drone footage, and detailed floor plans can make your listing stand out, and neglecting these tools could mean missing out on serious buyers. Well, let's add some bonus tips here to ensure your home selling journey is a smooth one. Highlight seasonal features is number 1. If you're selling in the fall, showcase a cozy fireplace and warm lighting. In summer, highlight outdoor spaces like patios and pools. Number 2, leverage local expertise. Use my knowledge of the neighborhood to emphasize nearby schools, parks, and amenities. Also, 3 is declutter digitally. Remove personal or controversial decor, such as family photos or sports memorabilia. Create a neutral environment that appeals to all buyers. Number 4 is emphasize energy efficiency. Today's buyers value eco-friendly homes. If you highlight features like solar panels and new windows or energy-efficient appliances, it's going to help. So the wrap up here is selling your home can be a smooth process if you avoid these 7 fatal flaws of home selling. The key is preparation, flexibility, and partnering with the right professionals. And if you're thinking of selling, let the Radio Realtors guide you. Call me, Robert Lewis, with eXp Realty at 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. Or you can live chat with me at RadioRealtors.com. That's RadioRealtors.com. And I will provide a market analysis and create a customized plan to get your home sold quickly and for top dollar. And Matt's telling me we got to go to break, but if you'd like to get a hold of me, I would love to work with you. Robert Lewis with eXp Realty, 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. Online at RadioRealtors.com. Back after this.
AC Heat and Plumbing, you just call Lee's. It's easy as calling Lee's. Lee's AC, Lee's AC, Plumbing and Heat, yeah.
Robert Lewis here from the Radio Realtors, and my friends at Lee's wanted me to remind you to be sure to stop by their booth at the Northern California Home and Landscape Show, January 31st through February 2nd at Cal Expo. This is the big show, and Lee's will have big savings for show attendees, including discounts on HVAC tune-ups, their exclusive HVAC and plumbing membership plans, their dynamic indoor air quality systems, and more. Lee's is your go-to solution for all your heating, AC, and plumbing needs. See you at the home show or book your service now at leesair.com. That's leesair.com.
AC Heat and Plumbing, you just call Lee's. It's easy as calling Lee's. Lee's AC, Lee's AC, Plumbing and Heat, yeah.
Okay, honey, I'm done with your cleaning list. Wash the windows.
Check.
Power wash the patio.
Check.
Cleaned the outdoor furniture.
Check.
Now for some me time.
What about cleaning the trash bin?
Nope, I didn't do that one.
Well, it's got to be done.
But they look and they smell really bad.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I heard on the radio about a local family-owned company called Bin Levin Clean Bins.
Wow, here they are. Bin Levin Clean Bins. It says they use a combination of hot water and high pressure to clean the bins. And they sanitize, deodorize, and disinfect them.
That sounds amazing.
And check this out. Bin Levin Clean Bins also has great reviews, and their service is really affordable. So, babe, can I hire them so I can finish off your cleaning list?
Of course, honey.
Awesome!
Enjoy 50% off your first cleaning with promo code FreshStart50. That's promo code FreshStart50. Hurry, limited time only. Discount available on all recurring plans. Book your cleaning now at binlovincleanbins.com.
Welcome back to the Radio Realtors with Robert Lewis from eXp Realty. If you'd like to talk to Robert directly, call 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. And now, here's Robert.
All right, welcome to the show. I'm Robert Lewis, and one thing we like to do on the show is help you understand that you need to take care of yourself. And unfortunately, in this day and age, there's nobody out there that's going to protect you and your interests. So what we're saying here is that you have to make some effort to protect yourself. And there are some good people out there that can help you protect yourself and your home and those things. And my next guest is one of those people. He understands completely that 90% of us Americans, our largest asset is our real estate and the equity in our homes. And most people, work their whole lives to pay off their homes. And in many cases, we completely ignore that equity. We don't protect it. So in the studio today, with an entire business model that has been made to protect and monitor your deed and your title and your equity, is Jim Adams. He's a co-founder and president of Equity Protect. How are you, Jim? Thanks for being on the show.
Good. Thanks for having me again.
So I think your company, Equity Protect, provides really an invaluable service to millions of Americans. They just need to know about it. So how do we get this out there so that we can show how different Equity Protect is versus just these monitoring companies?
Well, first, I think it's the understanding and education of individuals to know that there's a difference between monitoring and protecting. When you monitor, it basically is notifying you that something has occurred on your property and that you need to take action. Versus protection keeps that thing from happening to where you don't have to take action. You already did it. You took action by getting your property protected. And so I think it's really important to educate people on the difference between monitoring and truly protecting.
I know through my own years of being a real estate agent and investing in real estate, it's a staggering statistic out there. How many people have their equity and their homes stolen from them, Jim?
The number is growing exponentially each year. I think originally in 2019, when we got the first statistics, it was, millions of dollars. In 2023, they haven't come out with the stats yet, but the last ones that they did was 2022, and it was a little over $400 million had been stolen in deed and equity fraud.
It's amazing, and it seems to me like that number is definitely growing every single year. What does it look like when your title is encumbered by thieves, when they falsify like a quitclaim deed or something like that? I mean, is it super sophisticated, this crime, or how does it work?
No, it's very simple to commit. It's as easy as recording a document with a county recorder. It truly is that easy. I don't want to get into the specifics of how to do it to where we're educating on the crime, but it is a very simple crime to commit. It takes minutes.
And that's part of the problem, right, is that some of the competitors that you guys have in this e-fraud space were actually, during the pandemic, fraudsters on how to commit the crime, right?
Bullet point by bullet point. Yeah, it was scary how deep they got into how to commit this crime, and it perpetuated. You get on the dark web and you can see step-by-step instructions, including property lists that are on the dark web that people can use to commit the crime.
The big difference for you guys versus these monitoring companies is that they merely monitor and then tell you after something bad has happened to your title. You guys physically prevent the crime from occurring, right?
Correct. I liken it a lot to credit lock, but for your home title.
Okay.
You know, credit lock will notify you that, hey, somebody's pulled credit. Is this you pulling credit? You can notify the credit company back. Yes, it's me. No, it's not me. We do almost the exact same thing. So when we see a financial crime beginning to be perpetuated against the homeowner, we're notified. We then notify the homeowner, say, hey, are you trying to refinance or are you trying to sell your home? Yes or no. If they say yes, great. We create what's needed to help them progress in that transaction. If they say no, we notify title that this is a fraudulent transaction.
So in that type of situation, when title is notified, say this is a fraudulent transaction, are these people apprehended, or is it just stopping the crime from happening and everybody goes their merry way? Is that what happens normally?
Yeah, typically it's stopping the crime. Most of these are overseas. They impersonate that they're from here. I mean, there was one with Graceland.
Right, yeah, that's Elvis's property, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so to talk about that real quick.
Sure, it was a fraudulent note that was placed on the home, and eventually it came out in court that it was fraud. And, again, how much money was spent on attorneys to protect them from this type of crime. The person that created or committed the crime was interviewed and said, oh, we're doing this all over the place, and it works 90% of the time. Eventually, one of the individuals that was part of the crime was caught and prosecuted.
Right.
But that is rare. We just don't see it.
And it's just crazy to think something like Graceland, the Presley estate could have completely lost that property.
Exactly.
And they might not have been able to get it back.
Yeah. Years ago, somebody did with the Empire State Building. They transferred the ownership of the Empire State Building to themselves, and they were doing it to show that the crime could be committed. So nothing ever happened on it, but it's easy to do.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, folks, we're talking with Jim Adams. He's a co-founder and president of Equity Protect. EquityProtect.com is the place for you to go to take that free risk assessment. They've got a free risk assessment right on their website that you can find out your level of risk on your property. In addition to that, if let's say you're low risk after you take that free risk assessment, you can get free title monitoring with them. And that's what you're actually paying for with these other services out there. And there's several that do it, but they're just merely monitoring services. They will do it for free at Equity Protect for you. And then if you're, let's say, medium to high risk, you want to sign up for their full protection, and you can get that for just pennies a day. But go to their website, EquityProtect.com. That's EquityProtect.com. Jim, let's do an example. Like, let's say if a home has a mortgage on it and the mortgage is lower than the equity amount. So let's say a guy's got a $600,000 home. He owes $150,000 on a mortgage that he hasn't really paid attention to. He's just paying it off. He's got his payment on automatic payment through his account. Can somebody, unbeknownst to him, maybe take out an equity line on the home or something like that? I mean, is that a possibility for somebody?
It is a possibility. It's not a lower risk. It's going to fall into our medium to medium high risk. But there's two things I could do to go get his equity. I'm not going to go through it again of how to do it, but there is a way that I could impersonate that person and take out a HELOC loan. And there's also a way that I could actually transfer his property to myself and then go get that HELOC loan.
And you had a gentleman also that I guess he owned vacant land in like Incline Village.
Correct.
And he was an absentee owner, and somebody came along and impersonated him, and they ended up selling that property.
Yeah.
And he didn't find out until after he got notified from the title company that the transaction is already
closing documents.
Yeah, here's your closing documents. Congratulations on a successful sale. Now, most likely he's going to be able to get that property back, and he's going to not lose his money.
Correct.
But the time and effort that it's going to take to do that, and on your website is amazing, because you do have these horror stories, is what I call them. But there's people that maybe they're elderly and they own their home free and clear. Maybe they're in a care home and that home is just sitting there and they're trying to figure out what to do with it. And somebody comes in and sells the property or starts renting it out, or, I mean, there's so many, things that can happen.
Let's take the Incline Village story a little farther. What if the purchaser had built a home? The property owner didn't find out about it for years, and all of a sudden new owners come in, they build a home, or a contractor comes in, builds a home, sells it to a new buyer.
Sure.
Now look at all the parties involved in this type of,
I mean, it's a giant mess. Yeah. And it could take years and so much stress. That's what I look at. I mean, if you own your home free and clear, or you have thousands and thousands of dollars in equity, you really need to protect that. Because like we were talking about before the show, you have an alarm system on your home. You might have a Ring doorbell or something like that to protect your home. You might have a safe. You've got smoke detectors. You've got CO2 detectors. You got all these things, to safeguard your home. But then you have hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity and you leave that completely unprotected. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Agreed. It's like you were talking about, there's an alarm system. There's a few other things on the house. But what do? We always lock our door when we leave.
Sure. Yeah, you don't just leave it wide open with your alarm on, right?
And that's really the protection that Equity Protect forms, is we're the lock on the door. You could have all these other protections, but without the lock on the door, you're opening yourself up.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, Jim, let's say, God forbid, this happens to somebody. A criminal tries to tamper with or steal your equity, but the homeowner is smart and they've signed up for Equity Protect. What happens in this case normally?
So typically what will happen is when that financial crime is occurring, a title company is involved. Title company runs a chain of title, and they'll see our document that we're recording against the property, which is a copywritten, patented type of document. They notify us, hey, we need your permission to remove this document. We contact the homeowner and say, are you really trying to refinance your property or sell your property? If the answer is yes, then we create the waiver that allows that transaction to progress. If they say no, we notify the title company that you have a fraudulent transaction here.
The biggest difference is that during the pandemic, there were these criminals that were looking for unique and interesting ways to steal from people, stealing some of their biggest assets. And that was the equity in their home or their homes completely. I mean, there's been people that have been forced out of their homes because somebody sold it out from under them, right? Well, you can have a monitoring service monitor and then tell you when something bad has happened, and then you have to deal with it at that point. Or you can have a company that completely prevents it from happening. That is Equity Protect. That is the difference. Now, we've got to go to break, but if you'd like to take your free risk assessment with Equity Protect, you just go to their website. It's equityprotect.com. That's equityprotect.com. Take that free risk assessment. And like Jim said, if you're low risk, you can just sign up for their free monitoring. And the other companies out there in this space charge you for the monitoring, and that's all they do is monitor, but they're charging you for that. Equity Protect will do it for free. And then maybe one day you have more equity and you're in that medium to high risk. And from there, you would want to sign up for their whole service. But if you're in that medium to high risk, go ahead and sign up for just pennies a day. You are fully protected at equityprotect.com. Now, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more with Jim Adams, the co-founder and president of Equity Protect, right after this. Well, it's like I said, you don't get to the Super Bowl or even the playoffs without a great quarterback. Take Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Jared Goff as examples. And when it comes to the game of real estate, you need a great quarterback too. What? Yeah, your quarterback in a real estate transaction is your mortgage lender. And my first round draft pick for a lender is Jeff Compton with Guild Mortgage. Jeff has loan options to fit every situation, from down payment assistance programs for first-time home buyers to government-sponsored programs for military families and rural residents, or jumbo loans in high-cost markets. Honesty, integrity, commitment, and speed are trademarks of Jeff's outstanding service that he provides to all of his clients. He's dedicating to doing what it takes until your loan is closed. And when you're ready to win, call Jeff Compton, 916-765-2900. That's 916-765-2900. Online at jeffcompton.com, NMLS ID number 298997. I heard this great quote for the new year. The future is your story to write. Resolve to make the new year the best chapter yet. I love that. Robert Lewis here from the Radio Realtors and eXp Realty. Happy New Year, and if you haven't done so already, it's time to make a resolution, which could mean anything from eating better to getting to the gym more often to more productive work habits. And while these goals are certainly worthwhile, I'd like to make another suggestion for anyone who wants to sell their home in 2025. Why not resolve to make your sale as easy, efficient, and successful as possible? It's a big job. Fortunately, I've broken it down into smaller steps to help you start taking action now. In fact, I literally wrote the book on how to get it done. It's called Flip the Script, Turn Your Home into the Market's Hottest Property, available on Amazon. Why not give me a call today? Robert Lewis with eXp Realty. Call 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. Online at radiorealtors.com. DRE number 0140-6275.
Welcome back to the Radio Realtors with Robert Lewis from eXp Realty. If you'd like to talk to Robert directly, call 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. And now, here's Robert.
All right, welcome back to the show. I'm Robert Lewis, your host, and we are talking to Jim Adams. He's the co-founder and president of Equity Protect. Equity Protect is the only company out there that completely protects you from equity theft, house stealing, title fraud. And the reason is that they are not just a monitoring service like the other people in this space. They are actually a preventative measure that you can take to completely stop this crime from occurring. Jim, welcome back. I'm so glad that you're here. I wanted to ask you, we did get a caller that called in and said, hey, can you tell us the difference between home title insurance and Equity Protect? And I was curious about that. So when you buy a home, you get title insurance. What's the difference between that and what you guys do at Equity Protect?
Sure. That's a great question. Let's start by a little bit of history with title insurance. First off, I would recommend anyone buying a house today, get title insurance.
Sure.
Some people will tell you, oh, you don't need title insurance. Don't worry about it. You know, it'll save you some money. Don't do that. Don't listen to them. Buy title insurance. Additionally, if you're given the opportunity to buy what they call enhanced, or some of them call it their exceptional policy or whatever, there's an enhanced type of policy. And in different markets, it's anywhere from 10% to 25% more. So if you're paying $1,000 for the policy, another $100, you get this enhanced policy. So back in 2006, they created this new policy, the American Land Title Association. They have the standard policy and their homeowners policy. The standard policy, which is what many people get today even, is a policy that protects you up into the point of closing. So anything that occurred prior to your closing, they protect you on. Once the property closes, so post-close forgery, you're not protected. However, if you did buy the enhanced policy, you are protected from that type of forgery. The policy is only available on certain property types. It's not available on vacant land. It's not available on rural land with a home on it. So there's some areas where that type of policy is not available to you. Additionally, before 2006, the policy wasn't around. So if you're somebody that's lived in your home 30, 40 years, you don't have a mortgage, you don't have that type of protection. So the best way to look at title coverage is title insurance protects you from anything that happened to your title prior to you buying it.
Okay.
So you couldn't have a sibling from somebody come back and say, hey, my brother sold, our parents' house without my knowledge, and that's my house. Title insurance would protect you.
Okay.
Going forward, after the close of transaction, if you haven't bought the enhanced policy, you have no protection. So going forward, if somebody, fraudulently signs a deed or records a deed against your property, you have no protection using that title policy.
We don't want to educate people on how to commit this crime.
Correct.
Obviously, but literally, if a document was forged, as long as it was notarized properly and everything looked, normal, if you took that to the county recorder's office, don't they legally have to record the document?
They are bound by law to record it as long as it meets all their specifications.
Yeah, so as long as everything looks good on that, they're not going to check to see if the signature is correct or anything like that, because that's what the notary should have done, right? To make sure that it was all legit.
Really what they're looking for is there a legal description? Is the vesting correct? Those type of things. And if they are, then...
I think that it's almost like they should make it a requirement for everybody to have Equity Protect. I honestly do. But if you want to get your free risk assessment on your home, you can go to equityprotect.com. That's equityprotect.com. You were at break, you were talking about an example of a gentleman who I guess he went to a reunion, like a high school reunion or something. Can you kind of elaborate on that story? Because I think it's very interesting and it's sad, too. But it's an interesting story that kind of proves the point of having Equity Protect.
It kind of went along with the Incline Village story, but the gentleman went to he inherited his parents' home. Next to the parents' home was a vacant lot that the parents had bought in the 70s or 80s, and the kids grew up playing on that vacant lot.
So it's like Sandlot. They're playing like baseball and stuff. Yeah.
He went to a high school reunion, And some of the kids went, man, I can't believe you sold the lot next to your parents' house that we grew up on. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. They go, well, there's a house built there. And he's, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm telling you, I drove by it the other day. There's a house on that lot. So he leaves the high school reunion and goes over there. And sure enough, there's a house built on the lot that he owned. So he knocked on the door and found out that a builder had purchased the lot and built the home. And these buyers had bought the house. And so now they're in a big legal battle because he wants the house torn down and the lot put back to the way it was when he was a child. There's going to be big legal battles of, is that in the way, standing in the way of progress? Does he have to, leave it alone and get paid? It's going to be a fight.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So this guy goes by his parents' property. There's a home there now. It's like a big mess. So in this case, if let's just say the parents had Equity Protect in place, that wouldn't have ever happened, right?
Correct. Yeah. So what would have happened was the builder would have gotten a call, or the person listing the property. When it got into escrow, the builder would have found out that, hey, this is a fraudulent transaction, because they would have contacted us and said, we need you to remove your document. We would have contacted the true property owner and said, are you really trying to sell your property? The guy would have told us, no, I'm not selling my property. And so the builder wouldn't have been defrauded, and neither would the buyers from the builder.
So folks, if you have high equity, or you own your home free and clear, or you have a piece of vacant land and you own that free and clear and you're just leaving it there for maybe development one day for your family, or it's like a legacy, it's an inheritance for somebody, you want to protect that. And the only company that truly does that 100% is Equity Protect. They're the only company that we endorse. But go to equityprotect.com, take that free risk assessment today, find out where you are on the risk level. If you're low risk, then sign up for their free monitoring. If you're medium to high risk, sign up for their complete protection. And that will protect you 365 days a year, 24/7. You won't have to even check it once you have protected with Equity Protect. So basically, a fraudster, a criminal, they call a real estate agent and they say, I have this property. Maybe I live out of state. And the real estate agent looks up the property, sees it, this person that, is saying that they're the owner. And then they ultimately list the property. They find a buyer. And then as a seller, normally they're somewhere out of the country, right? I mean, 9 out of 10 times. It's
usually, yes. But that's common for us to see that in the title industry. There's
people
a lot
go on
of time.
vacation all the time, right?
Yep, they leave the country when they're selling their home for some reason.
Yeah.
But it's not uncommon for us to send documents to an American consulate in a country and have somebody go in there and get notarized. So that's not an odd thing for us. The other thing is to think about, let's say you're a property owner and you have several rentals and I rent one of them. I go get a fake ID under your name. I call a real estate agent, say, I own this property. I'd like to list it. They don't know that it's a rental. They can hold open houses there. They can do all sorts of things. When I go to my signing, I have a fake ID. A notary doesn't validate my ID. They're just looking that the ID matches what the name is. They don't run it through a scanner. They don't validate it in any way. So there's another way there to commit the fraud. Important for people that have multiple rentals, or even a rental that does Airbnb, that own the property free and clear. Those are prime suspects for this type of fraud.
So we've got a text on our hotline number, and it says, if I have a trust, am I safe from this crime occurring to me?
Not at all.
Really? Okay. So why is that?
If they can fraudulently do documents, they can fraudulently do trust documents, or what we look for in the title world is a trust cert. So they would say, oh yeah, I'm part of that trust. Here's my trust cert. I'm the executor of the trust. Here's all my documentation. So I own a title company. About a month ago, we had one that was a trust, and we got down close to closing. And when the fraudulent individual provided us the trust cert, there were some things that tipped me off that the cert was fraudulent. Won't disclose what those were, but it tipped me off right away. And this is fraud. And so when we started asking more questions, the individual disappeared. And then we got in contact with the real property owner. He was very thankful that we did our job. So trust doesn't help you in any way, shape, or form with that.
So we're talking to Jim Adams. Jim Adams is the co-owner, and he's a co-founder and the president of Equity Protect. Equity Protect is the only company of its kind that truly prevents equity theft, deed fraud, house stealing, and we're seeing it all over the place on the news, people being forced out of their homes, people having their accounts drained, their equity stolen, and there are so many ways that you can protect yourself for all different types of things. You're driving a car with airbags. You've got an alarm system on your home, but most people don't have prevention for their biggest asset, which is their home.
Exactly.
And that's like 90% of Americans, right?
I would agree. Yeah. Majority of people's wealth is in the equity of their home or their other properties.
They can go to your website. It's equityprotect.com, take that free risk assessment. And if they're low risk, they can do what?
If they're low risk, just sign up for the property monitoring.
And that's free,
it's
right?
Free. Yeah. So we'll notify you if anything odd goes on. And it's good to have. What if you get a fraudulent IRS lien? I tell a story of my father went to sell a property one time and he had an IRS lien and it was his name, his last name, wrong middle initial. But it held up his closing because he had to get proof that that wasn't him. So it's a good way to monitor for things that pop up. Child support liens sometimes get placed on the wrong property. IRS liens get placed on the wrong property. So you can keep a lookout on your property for just fraudulent liens that pop up. But again, it's free of charge. The other companies out there are charging around $200 a year for that, but we do it for free.
Awesome. So go to equityprotect.com. That's equityprotect.com. Take the free risk assessment. Find out your level of risk. Like Jim said, if you're low risk, sign up for their free title monitoring. If you are medium to high risk, sign up for their complete protection at equityprotect.com, equityprotect.com. Any last words before we wrap up the show?
Sure. I think what we want to do is offer any listener of the show today a 30% discount on their first year. So if they use the promo code on our website, ProtectMe30, they'll get 30% off of our first year subscription.
That is awesome. So if you'd like to get 30% off your first year with total protection at Equity Protect, just go to equityprotect.com. That's equityprotect.com and enter the promo code ProtectMe30. That's awesome. Protect Me 30. Hey, thanks, Jim, for being on the show.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to the Radio Realtors with Robert Lewis from eXp Realty. To reach Robert, just call 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. Or live chat with a member of our team anytime at RadioRealtors.com. The Radio Realtors, where we make real estate real easy.
Well, it's like I said, you don't get to the Super Bowl or even the playoffs without a great quarterback. Take Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Jared Goff as examples. And when it comes to the game of real estate, you need a great quarterback too. What? Yeah, your quarterback in a real estate transaction is your mortgage lender. And my first round draft pick for a lender is Jeff Compton with Guild Mortgage. Jeff has loan options to fit every situation, from down payment assistance programs for first-time home buyers to government-sponsored programs for military families and rural residents, or jumbo loans in high-cost markets. Honesty, integrity, commitment, and speed are trademarks of Jeff's outstanding service that he provides to all of his clients. He's dedicating to doing what it takes until your loan is closed. And when you're ready to win, call Jeff Compton, 916-765-2900. That's 916-765-2900. Online at jeffcompton.com, NMLS ID number 298997. I heard this great quote for the new year. The future is your story to write. Resolve to make the new year the best chapter yet. I love that. Robert Lewis here from the Radio Realtors and eXp Realty. Happy New Year, and if you haven't done so already, it's time to make a resolution, which could mean anything from eating better to getting to the gym more often to more productive work habits. And while these goals are certainly worthwhile, I'd like to make another suggestion for anyone who wants to sell their home in 2025. Why not resolve to make your sale as easy, efficient, and successful as possible? It's a big job. Fortunately, I've broken it down into smaller steps to help you start taking action now. In fact, I literally wrote the book on how to get it done. It's called Flip the Script, Turn Your Home into the Market's Hottest Property, available on Amazon. Why not give me a call today? Robert Lewis with eXp Realty. Call 833-32-RADIO. That's 833-32-RADIO. Online at radiorealtors.com. DRE number 0140-6275.